I turn to my right and I look at our in-studio guest and say his film is coming out Friday, and he's a first ballot Pro Football Hall of Famer. I don't know if I've ever said that. Howie Long's movies haven't come out on a Friday in quite some time.
Nope.
But LaDainian Tomlinson, your film, God Bless the Broken Road, is opening in theaters on Friday. Good to see you, LT.
Good to see you, Rich. Thank you.
You're acting now? Are you an actor?
Yeah. First one, man, and it was pretty awesome. I played a pastor, and the film is about a young woman who loses her husband in Afghanistan, and she falls upon hard times losing him and trying to raise her daughter by herself. And she goes through various things like losing her house, and it's really a story that really will inspire and bring hope to a lot of people. And of course, playing a pastor is my job to help her regain her faith.
And her is played by Jordan Sparks. Is she's in this film?
She is in the film, but Jordan is not the person. You're gonna have to.
Okay, you're gonna have to see it.
Yeah.
You're gonna have to see the film. Okay, because Jordan Sparks is in it. Robin Givens,
who played my wife in the film,
is in the film.
Yes.
Kim Delaney, who was on NYPD Blue for many, many years, she's in this film as well. How did you get involved in this?
Well, a gentleman that I've known for quite some time is an executive producer for the film. And so one day, out the blue, I hadn't talked to him in quite some time. He called me up and said, LT, we're casting for a film. And he said, we need a pastor. He said, I thought of you. And he said, before you tell me to screw off, just hear me out. He said, I think you'll be awesome in this role. Send me a script. And the other thing that he said to me, Rich, was intriguing to me and really made me want to do the film, is he said, parts of the proceeds from this film will benefit DAV, Disabled American Veterans. And of course, all the work I do in the community and, working with our veterans, I had to be a part of that.
I know you were exposed to it for many, many years in San Diego. Yeah. Obviously, what type of town San Diego is. God Bless the Broken Roads. God Bless the Broken Road is in theaters this Friday. We'll talk a little bit more about this because I'm wondering if you're pulling a Jim Brown with your running career all over. You start acting as well. I do want to hit you on some of the headlines going on in the National Football League. What do you think is going through Le'Veon Bell's mind right now, LaDainian Tomlinson?
Yeah, I think Le'Veon understands that, for one, this might be his last year in Pittsburgh, and two, I think he wants to preserve himself for whatever team he goes to next. It's no secret that Pittsburgh is probably going to run him, into the ground this year because this is his last year. And so if you're Le'Veon, you do need to preserve yourself. And if I was him, I would take my self out of the games at times to preserve my carries, because you're not the long-term solution for Pittsburgh any longer.
But what does that mean for the guys that you're suiting up with? Look, I'm always on the side of somebody getting theirs, trying to get theirs, certainly in a sport where your career can end with the next snap of the football. So I place that caveat on this question, though. If he does want to do this, and that is his right to do for his career, his family, his well-being, what does that mean to the rest of the Steelers when he's out there? I mean, what if he, during the game, third quarter, touched the top of his helmet right in the middle of a drive because he wants to preserve himself for his next team?
Well, I don't know if he'll do it. I don't know if he'll do it in that way, but there are times where, say, for example, if it's a long drive and typically you might stay in that long drive, you can go out for 2 or 3 plays within that 12-play drive and preserve yourself. It's quite easy to do that.
Did you ever do that?
Not on purpose, but sometimes you do need a little breather. And of course, I had some great guys behind me, so I did it so I can preserve myself in the fourth quarter, because I knew that was when my team really needed me. But it's disappointing what Pittsburgh is doing, to be honest with you, because you draft a player, develop this player to become the best guy in the league at running the football, but you don't want to pay him. What happened to, all this stuff that these organizations sell you on, faith, family, football, and we care about you, but you want to run him into the ground and then use him up and not pay him? Like, that's unfair.
It does seem to me that if Khalil Mack was still a Raider right now and holding out and not getting his with 3 years of team control still left, 1 contractually and then 2 years of franchise tagging like Le'Veon's gotten, and he got his exit visas to the Bears, that he might be thinking that he might be in camp right now. You know what I mean? Like he's looking that. But I don't know. Do you think the Steelers would really trade him right now? I mean, this is they need him this year. They need him.
Well,
right
they're
now.
not acting like they need him, because you could have did this a long time. You could have traded him. If you knew you weren't going to sign him to a long-term deal, that is totally unfair to try to use a player up and just get rid of him. Just trade him. Get rid of him. Just like Oakland did with Khalil.
LaDainian Tomlinson here on the Rich Eisen Show. Again, what were the numbers for him last year? Number of touches?
321 carries, 406 touches.
So they kind of ran him in the ground last year anyway. Right. So that's what I'm saying. So what would those numbers look like running it into the ground? 350 carries and
over 400 touches again. That would qualify as running into the ground.
Does this at all make you rethink the Steelers' Super Bowl viability? The fact that he's not in camp right now, week 1 on the Wednesday before, even if he does show up, say Friday, Saturday, so he can get his game check this week.
Yeah.
What do you think?
Yes, it does, because he's a special talent. He's a special weapon on that team as part of that offense, and he's a premier player. You win games with players, not coaches. And the thing about it is that's why it's intriguing to me what Oakland did, because they traded away their best player. And in this sense, in the same way, you can make the argument that Antonio Brown is possibly their best player, but Le'Veon is, he's top 3. Absolutely.
Right. 1A-ish.
Yeah, 1A-ish.
Like right there. So what do you think is going on in the Raiders locker room right now, though?
Ooh, I think a lot of players are disappointed. Because, Khalil helps everybody on that defense. And think about the other pass rushers like Bruce Irvin. Remember how easy Bruce Irvin had it because of Khalil? Mm-hmm. He didn't get double-teamed. But now protections are going to slide to him because he's the most dominant rusher they have. What do you think those guys in the secondary are thinking? And if we're not getting no pressure on the quarterback, it's going to be tough to cover guys. Beyond that, Rich, he was one of the leaders in the locker room. That was the thing that we heard coming out of that locker room a lot in Oakland. Khalil was a leader. He was best friends with Derek Carr. All that will have an effect on that locker room, trust me.
Yeah, and then the fact that there's 31 new members on the team right now, and they've made it in the mold, I guess, of Gruden, who loves veterans, right? And their average age is over the age of 27, oldest roster. And then that gives you the idea we kind of need to win right now with the veterans. And they trade Khalil Mack. But they all so what if the Steelers just went up and traded Le'Veon Bell? Basically saying addition by subtraction, we're not going to think about it anymore. We're going to give him his exit visas. We're going to figure it out. I mean, what
That's
do you think?
That's the right thing to do.
So the Steelers locker room would be fine with that?
Well, I think with those guys and hearing them talk over the last couple of days, I think they're fine. They believe in James Conner. James has had a really good preseason, and he's progressed very nicely. Now, is he Le'Veon Bell? Absolutely not. But he can be a solid version of Le'Veon because he is a guy that can run between the tackles. He's tough. He can catch the ball out the backfield. And so who knows what he's going to develop into. But I think he's earned the confidence of everybody in that locker room.
Well, with all due respect, what do you know about preseason football?
No, yeah, you're right. You're right.
Did you ever play a down of preseason football?
I did play.
When was the last down of preseason football? Not for the Jets, did you?
No. Actually, yeah. My first year, I remember Rex Ryan wanted to kind of see what I had, and I played against the Giants. I remember.
Oh, well, he played everyone in the Snoopy Bowl. He played Sanchez in the fourth quarter. We all know what happened there.
Yeah.
So did you tell Rex, look, I don't know what is this preseason football?
Absolutely not. He wanted to see what the old man had, and I was willing to give it to him.
Okay. It's just interesting that it seems that everybody's taking your old, or at least the old approach that the Chargers took with you in the preseason. There's no reason to play.
There's no reason. Like, it doesn't mean anything.
Right.
And, I feel bad for a guy like Geis. You know, the Washington rookie running back who plays in preseason. Now his season is over, and even Jared McKinnon.
Yep.
You know, that's sad to see, and it happens quite often.
What's LaDainian Tomlinson here on the Rich Eisen Show? A few more minutes with him here in studio. Your Super Bowl prediction? Have you made one yet?
Yeah, I have.
What do you got?
I got Chargers and Vikings.
Chargers, Vikings.
Yeah.
Okay, let's take it one at a time here. Chargers. I know that's part of your heart here, but walk me through the head.
My analyst,
the
my analyst
your
hat.
analyst hat.
Yeah.
Okay.
And so we're looking at a team that in the AFC now,
Yes.
without question, is one of the strongest on paper. Barring injury, you have one of the top quarterbacks in Phillip Rivers, who's primed and ready to have, you know, an all-time great season, right? Keenan Allen, who every year he's going to have 100 catches. Mike Williams, the emergence of Mike Williams, okay? Along with some of the other guys on offense, Mike Pouncey, the addition of Mike Pouncey at center is going to help the run game. Melvin Gordon will get going. And then you couple that with a defense that has gotten better. You got 2 stud pass rushers, but then you got a young rookie stud you drafted too in Derwin James that's going to help that secondary.
He's awesome.
You have everything you need, and you have depth. And Caleb Sturgis, he's the kicker now. So
You got it squared away, because I was about to say you said 2 words that I rarely hear with about Chargers. The words barring injury. Usually there's no barring, you know, and we already saw that with Hunter Henry.
Yeah.
But you're right. I mean, Phillip has got some weapons here, and then Gordon is as good as they come. Gates just did the old man thing, which is I don't need no stinking preseason or training camp. I'll just show up and I'll just run my routes here. Okay, and then the Vikings. Is it just, do you think Cousins is going to perform better than Case Keenum?
Well,
it's as simple as that?
Yeah, but I also think they're one of the most well-coached teams. I love them. I think he's an excellent coach. But that defense, I believe, will be better. They kept the nucleus together on defense. They will be dominant again. But then Kirk Cousins, I think he's going to boost the confidence of everybody on offense. But the key is Dalvin Cook. You know, having Dalvin Cook, an explosive, dynamic player that can take it to the house at any point on the field, that's going to be the difference.
I'll tell you, last night on game day morning season preview, I gave my Super Bowl prediction, and I tried so many different ways to figure out how the Patriots aren't making it back, just to make it interesting.
Right.
Couldn't figure it out.
Yeah.
With all due respect to the Chargers. The Texans, who I think will have the MVP on the team, I think Deshaun Watson is going to be the MVP of 2018. What we saw last year in October, I do not think was an outlier at all. I think it was the future of this game.
Yeah.
And I think he is going to ball out, if he's barring injury, be the MVP of the league. And then maybe even win in week 1 in New England, as the do-your-job Patriots will have their usual September trying to figure out how to work it together, and then Belichick will figure it out. And I think New England makes it.
Well, you know, they
Certainly
got
with
the
Lev Bell doing
easiest
what's
path,
going
right? They got the easiest path. They're probably going to win the AFC East. And
Well, no, you could take the probably out of it.
well, yeah.
Right.
And so if that's the case, what do you typically have when you win your division?
The bye week.
The bye week. And then that next game is at home. And we know how hard it is to win at Gillette Stadium. It's very difficult.
Well, you had a
Of
tough
course, I
time.
did it.
I
You know?
With the Jets, though.
With the Jets.
Yeah,
Right. Of
right,
course.
with the Jets.
I still did it.
That's the can't wait game, right? Isn't that what that is?
That
Can't Wait?
was a can't wait
That was
game.
week before.
It was the Bart Scott can't wait, and then they actually
right.
Yeah.
got it done. And then for the NFC, I love Atlanta because they're paid. They're all paid and happy.
Yeah. Well, there's 6 teams that you can say, right?
No, I know that, but I eventually settled on the Rams.
See,
I really
and
just settled on the Rams. On paper, they are so damn talented, and McVay and Wade Phillips know how to take the paper and put it into human practice.
Yeah.
And I just really think that Gurley is going to be 1A-ish in the MVP race this year.
Yeah.
And I just like the Rams beating New England in Atlanta and winning it all. The Rams, just because I always being the role that I have on the NFL Network, I always look for storylines because, the football gods always like laughing and they wink and nod at you when you don't expect it. The Rams' lone Super Bowl win was when they christened the Georgia Dome, and now this is the new place in Atlanta. So they're going to be there in Atlanta and do it again.
Okay.
So I think that's going to be the Rams beating the Patriots and what could possibly be Brady's last Super Bowl. You never know.
Yeah.
And as we know, Brady beat the Rams for his first Super Bowl. It's kind of bookending in a way.
Geez, you've thought this out.
This is what I do for a living, LaDainian.
Yeah.
You
I forgot about that.
You analyze and act. I think about this frequently useless information.
Yeah.
But on a show like this, I hope it's some sort of currency,
So my only concern, can I give you my only concern with the Rams?
Please.
Okay, so I love their team, but can they come together with all the different moving parts and the different personalities of talent that they have on that team? Will they come together? And that was one of the things that at the root of our problem with the Jets my first year. Remember, we brought in all this talent, and when it came down to it in the championship game, we were already, I guess, personality-wise, struggling a little bit with different dynamics on the team, trying to keep that team together. Of course, it all fell apart that following year,
yes,
if you remember.
So then what was that? Isn't that coaching? Isn't that the coach's job to mix it all together?
Well, yeah, it is, but the coach can't be everywhere. The coach is not in the locker room at time when guys are arguing and saying, screw you, and
that was what was going on in the Jets locker room?
I mean, there was different things.
Who was telling each other to go?
There was different things going on.
We need names.
Do you not remember the guys we had in that locker room?
Well, I know there's Bart Scott, and then there was
Antonio Holmes and Braylon Edwards.
Okay. This is the same Braylon Edwards that just hit send on his Twitter account.
Of course.
So that was what was all going on.
Well, it was
the Michigan-Ohio State rivalry in that locker room?
It was interesting to say that. On top of that, the influence that veteran guys sometimes have on young guys, but that's my only concern with the Rams. Will they be able to keep it together with so many different dynamics?
I just think Wade will, because I'm looking at the personalities, and they're all on the defensive side of the ball.
Absolutely.
Okay. With Aqib Talib and Marcus Peters and Ndamukong and Suh all just added. If I'm going to put some names to what you're putting down, I'm trying to pick up. I just think Wade Phillips is going to handle that.
I've been around Wade, and yes, I do think he's an excellent defensive coordinator and coach.
Is there a but?
Well, no, I was just going to say, Wade is more of a father figure. He's not going to really, chastise guys.
Who is that guy?
So they're going to have a guy to do that. Pull them guys all together. Because what happened one game? What if they're just getting smoked and the defense is getting ran through and they can't figure it out that day?
And one corner's throwing a flag, another corner's snatching a chain.
Absolutely.
Another defensive lineman is stomping somebody.
Absolutely.
Is that what you're saying?
Yeah.
I'm still going with the Rams.
Maybe.
No. I'm still going Rams over Patriots, but you never know. Who's your MVP choice? What do you think?
Oh, man. I think Aaron Rodgers.
It's tough not to go there.
He's going to have an excellent year. He's so good. So good.
So before what do you got?
Got to stay healthy.
I know.
Yeah.
Before I let you go, God Bless the Broken Road again is in theaters this Friday. A moving film in which you play the preacher.
Yeah.
Okay.
Pastor Williams.
Is this the first of many? Did you get a taste of the acting here and you want to try some more?
Well, we'll see what happens. I think there are other opportunities out there for me.
Okay.
And we'll see what happens.
Okay.
So
we've had people come on here and get other seasons picked up, and Oscars won and Emmys won. So I'm just saying, you came to the right place.
Yeah, I knew I had to come by and see you.
Okay, and it's you in Prime again, right?
Yes,
Game Day
it is.
Prime.
Game Day Prime
coming up after Sunday Night Football.
Yep.
And I'll say it. I think it's out there. It's you in Prime and Shannon Sharp.
Yep.
And Carissa Thompson.
Yes.
On a simulcast on Big Fox. Am I breaking news to you guys?
Sounds like a fun show. I saw the tweet yesterday.
Okay, very good.
Oh,
So
great.
I'm glad. See, we're both looking at each other. Are you going to say it? Am I going to say it?
NFL Media account had tweeted it out.
Oh, did they really?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
So you and Prime and Shannon Sharp.
That's going to be pretty good.
Good luck to Carissa. on that front.
Yeah,
It's
right.
three guys.
Getting the word in.
Three
guys
golden
getting it.
jackets.
That'll be, three guys in jackets.
Yeah.
Three guys in first ballot jackets, I believe. Yeah. Right? Was Shannon a first ballot? I don't know.
That's a good question.
I think he was. You and Prime going at it. One last one for you, and you could. Well, I'm just ask you point blank. What was it like in Canton this year with the non-TO show, and what it was like talking amongst all the Hall of Famers about that?
Well, it was very interesting, talking to Hall of Famers about that. It was various opinions about it, of course. Some guys felt like that he was basically disrespecting the Hall of Fame and the players, the guys that have been enshrined, and other guys said, hey, when he comes, we're going to welcome him with open arms. And I kind of take that approach, right? Because whatever T.O. is dealing with within himself, I do believe he's taking the blame out on the wrong guys. We all know he's mad at the writers, which the players had nothing to do with that. But once he gets over that and he wants to come back, we're going to welcome him. And, it was sad missing him. And, hey, at the end of the day, I think it's something he's going to regret because you don't get that back. You don't have a chance to be enshrined again.
You told this great story, if you don't mind, in the few minutes we have left here, of just recounting for the audience here of when you first realized in your enshrinement weekend that this was a wonderful weekend and a totally new experience for you as a football player and somebody who was hoping to get in when you got to that Hall of Fame, State of the Hall speech and you sat down.
Yeah. I was one of the first ones to go in that room.
It's the Friday
It's
of the
the
weekend.
Friday of the jump off the weekend where they give the State of the Hall address. President David Baker does it. And so all the Hall of Famers come into the room, and I'm sitting there, the first one, and as the guys start to roll in, Jim Brown comes in, and he's walking over, and he's looking right at me. And I'm thinking, is Jim Brown going to sit by me? And he comes and he sits right next to me. And the first thing he says to me, he leans over and he says, when you get here, we're all equal. And I was thinking to myself, are you kidding me? This is for real. And I said, no disrespect, Mr. Brown, but we're not all equal. You're Jim Brown. You're the Godfather.
What do you say to that?
He just kind of chuckled a little bit. That's
He
Jim does.
Because he knows.
He knows.
Because he knows. But that's and I mean a whole ton to you to hear that from him just sitting down there. And then just in terms of, moments that we've seen for the past few years of the enshrinement ceremony, and indelible images of you removing the coverage of your bust using the teardrop method. And
which I got.
Who was the one who told you?
Yeah, I got that idea from yours truly, Rich Eisen.
Right here on the Rich Eisen Show.
Yes.
Run tell that is all I'm saying. Run tell that. Good to see you.
Thank you, Rich.
Tomlinson. Great to see you as always at LT_21 on Twitter. And go check out God Bless the Broken Road in theaters this Friday. You're the best.
Thank you.
The Rich Eisen Show, weekdays at noon Eastern on Audience.